Hello and welcome to my channel, Viscaria ASMR. Today's video is for Pride. I'm going to talk to you about the different Pride flags that you may see this month and a little bit about their history and the meaning behind them, because a lot of them, the colors have meanings and sort of the choices people made when they made those flags. So let's get started. I have my computer pulled up in front of me so that I can go through some of the flags. There's a lot of information here, so I'm going to be scrolling through a little bit to remind myself. Now the first Pride flag is the familiar flag. It's a rainbow, but it has two extra colors that you don't see these days. This flag was created by Gilbert Baker, and it was meant as a flag for everyone under the LGBTQ umbrella. He made it as a symbol because previous symbols for the community were often based in bad things that happened to us. For example, the pink triangle was often a symbol used for gay men, and that came out of course, the Holocaust. So this was, I think, in 1977, we wanted a symbol that didn't come out of our pain, but in fact was a celebration of who we are. And so he made this flag, and each color in it has a meaning. So let me see. The hot pink color was eventually dropped. I think actually for printing purposes, I think the pink was more expensive, but it symbolized sex. Red was for life. Orange is for healing. Yellow is for sunlight. Green is for nature. Turquoise, which is another color that got dropped for various reasons. One reason that's been given is essentially without pink, the flag had an odd number of colors, and that made it difficult to print maybe, but turquoise was for magic and art. Indigo is for serenity, and violet is for spirit. And so those were his original colors that he put in the original Pride flag back in 1977. After that, like I said, the pink color got dropped essentially for to save money when making flags. Oh, and I guess it was hard to get the fabric at all. So eventually the turquoise got dropped as well, and we get our traditional Pride flag, which is of course the rainbow. Some have argued recently, now that getting hot pink isn't as difficult, that maybe we should bring back the colors of the old flag. I like that idea, but currently this is the flag that you see around, and again, it is for the entire community. I've seen some misconceptions recently that it is a flag meant for gay men. It was created by a gay man, but it was not meant to be only for gay men. So this flag is for everyone. Okay, and then this flag actually recently has evolved a little bit, and this came out of Philadelphia. They added black and brown to the flag to indicate acceptance of people of color in the LGBTQ community. So Philadelphia in particular had faced accusations of discrimination in their gay bars, which is one reason the City of Brotherhood added these colors to show that they were inclusive and that they cared about their black and brown brethren. So I think this was a good move. I think it's a nice flag, and I do see this a lot at Pride as well these days, so this flag has picked up a lot of traction. And so that's it for the original traditional flag. And so after the success of the rainbow flag, many different subgroups wanted to make their own flags. So this is the bisexual flag. I I don't know, I'm not sure when it originated, but it was designed by Michael Page. And I don't love this flag. The pink is symbolism of girls, and the blue is sort of symbolism of boys, and the purple is the overlap. It's both the overlap of people who like both boys and girls, but also for people who are not either boys or girls, or are both boys and girls. So yeah, the colors of this flag have always not been my favorite. So while I have at times identified as bisexual, I've never really liked this flag. I'd rather have a rainbow. Okay, and so next we have the pansexual flag. And so the difference between bisexual and pansexual has been a little, not controversial, but misunderstood. So bisexual is identified by bisexuals as someone who has the ability to love people of their own gender and of other genders, but maybe not all genders. Whereas pansexual identify themselves as people who are able to love people of all genders. So there's a lot of overlap there. You can be both bisexual and pansexual. So in terms of identifying yourself, I think it's more about which word you prefer, which word you feel more comfortable with. The pansexual flag I do find a little prettier, but the symbolism is pretty similar to the bisexual flag, in that the pink is for girls, the blue is for boys, and the yellow is a color that's meant to represent people who are neither boys and girls, so non-binary people, genderqueer people. And so yellow is considered more of a gender-neutral color in this regard. It is not so purple is a mixture of blue and pink, but yellow is not. It's not related to blue or pink, it's something else. So that is the symbolism behind the pansexual flag. Although I don't see a lot of them. I see more bisexual flags, but not sure. Okay. So next we have the asexual flag. And I do see this one a lot these days, which is nice. So asexual people don't feel sexual attraction toward others, or it's a spectrum, and that's what the flag represents. So black on the flag is for people who really feel no sexual attraction at all to other people. Gray is for gray sexual people. That includes demisexual people, and those are people who do not feel sexual attraction until they know someone very well. And this is different. So some people think that's true of everyone, but a demisexual person won't see someone and think like, oh, they're hot, I might want to get to know them better. They don't necessarily have that impulse. It's more like they get to know someone, and after they feel close to them, then they might think, oh, this person's kind of hot. So it's a little bit different how attraction works for them. And so they're considered gray sexual because they are sort of like less sexual. And then white, I believe, is for allies. So yeah, allies of asexuals. And then purple, I think, is for community. So that is the asexual flag. It is my understanding that aromantic people can also be represented in this flag. Aromantic people might feel sexual attraction, but they don't have romantic feelings toward people. So these two things can be different from each other. And a person who is ace can be romantic, so they form romantic attachments to other people, but they are not interested in sex, or they don't feel sexual attraction. Whereas a romantic person might have sexual feelings toward people, but they never form romantic feelings. So there is also an aromantic flag, but I do believe that many aro people also use the asexual flag. Okay, So next flag, now we're getting a little complicated because we're getting to the lesbian flag. And my short answer is right now there is no accepted common lesbian flag. So historically there was this flag. It is purple. It has a black triangle that's upside down, and in the middle is a weapon called a labrys. And this flag was never really mainstream. It was never super accepted for 3 reasons. The first is that it was made by a man, so it wasn't made by a lesbian. It was made by I think a gay man. The second reason is the black triangle, much like the pink triangle, is symbolism that came out of the Holocaust, out of Nazi Germany. So the black triangle was given to asocial women, which included gay women, or just bisexual women as well. So women who loved other women were marked with the black triangle. And then in recent history, the labrys, which is a weapon that the creator chose because it was used by the Grecian Amazons, so it made sense for a flag for lesbians. But unfortunately, recently, like current Nazis and those type of people are have used this symbol, this weapon, in their symbology. So it's not something that lesbians really want to be associated with. And those are all reasonable criticisms of this flag. So for a long time there was just no flag for lesbians. And then I think in 2010 a new flag was created. It was the lipstick lesbian flag, and it was created on a blog, and the symbology of it wasn't very deep. It was just shades of lipstick. It is pretty, but it was also, again, it was meant for lipstick lesbians, so this didn't include butch women or gender non-conforming women or just women who weren't incredibly feminine presenting. So it was a little bit exclusionary. People also found issue with the creator. She wasn't necessarily the most inclusive person, so not everyone really identifies with this flag. It is the most common flag that you'll see for lesbians these days, but a lot of women don't love it, so still some controversy there. There was a flag made more recently, and let me see if I can find my explanation for it. I really like this flag. It's pretty, and it also came from really nice symbology. So the creator of the flag, her name is Lydia. I don't know her last name, sorry Lydia. She took a poem from Sappho, who of course was a lesbian in the true meaning of the word, in that she was from Lesbos, and a poet, and she's why we get the word lesbian, named after Sappho. And so she took one of her poems and took a section of it where she lists some flowers. So the poem says, "All the violet tiaras, braided rosebuds, dill and crocus twined around your young neck." So that's the part of the poem she took, and she translated those into colors. So violet becomes purple, rosebud is pink, crocus is purple, and dill is green. I must have gotten one of these wrong. Let's see. Crocuses aren't purple. I was wrong about that. They are yellow. And so the purple stands for sapphic love, sapphic after Sappho, so lesbian love, or women who love women, sapphic love. The crocus, the yellow, is for strength. The dill, or green, is for healing. And the rosebud, or pink, is for fragility. And so I love that we have both strength and fragility, and then of course sapphic love. and healing. I think these are all beautiful concepts, and I like the symbology a lot. So I'm hoping this flag gets a little bit more traction among women who love women. This has not been called a lesbian flag, but a sapphic flag. It's based on Sappho. And sapphic, again, is a slightly more inclusive term because it includes any women who love women. So that includes bisexual, pansexual women. So that is the lesbian or sapphic flag. And are there any more flags I wanted to show you today? Oh yes, I'm not done yet. The intersex flag. I actually had not seen this one before, but I really like the symbology of it. So it is a purple circle on a yellow background, and I'm not certain. Yes, so the colors are intentionally non-binary colors. So similar as we saw before with the bisexual flag, purple could be a mixture of pink and blue, and then with the pansexual flag, yellow is sort of outside of the binary. And people who are intersex often have features of both men and women, or sort of the masculine and feminine, secondary and primary sexual characteristics. There are many different ways of being intersex. And the thing I most love about this is the circle. The circle it represents wholeness. So intersex people are not incomplete. They are whole as they are. They are correct as they are. They don't need to be changed to be acceptable. They don't need to be forced to be a man or a woman. They are just who they are, and they are whole, and that is okay. And so I just think this is really nice symbology for their flag, and I would love to see it more often. So that is the intersex flag. Here we go, the transgender flag. I've seen this one a lot. Let's see, it was designed in 1999, so it's been around for a while. And so once again, we have blue for sort of boys or masculine, and pink for feminine or girls, and then the white is a symbol for people who are transitioning, or people who feel they have a neutral gender or no gender, non-binary, agender. And it was also meant to symbolize intersex people, so they were included under this trans flag. And then the reason that it's not just 3 stripes, but they made it symmetrical, was the idea that you couldn't fly it upside down. It couldn't be incorrect. No matter how you flew this flag, it was correct and accurate, and it didn't need to be changed. So I like that as well. Or let's see, the creator said, "The pattern is such that no matter which way you fly it, it will always be correct. This symbolizes us trying to find correctness in our own lives." So I like that. Next, we have a flag that I couldn't identify before recently, but now I know. This is the genderqueer flag. And so the lavender stands for androgyny. So again, this combination of pink and blue, of masculine and feminine, to create androgyny. The white is for agender, or people who have no gender. So agender. And then green is non-binary. So similar to the yellow, green is a color that is not made up of pink and blue. It is outside of the binary. So this was originally called the genderqueer flag by the creator. Some people now refer to it as the non-binary flag. Both are correct. Skipping through to... And so this is another non-binary flag. It was created by a non-binary creator who felt improperly represented by the genderqueer flag. It is not meant as a replacement, but as another option. And so the yellow symbolizes gender outside of a binary. The white is a mixture of all colors, because that, white is a reflection of all colors. And so, and so it could represent people with many or all genders. Purple is for people who both feel binary male and female or fluid between them, and black is for agender community because black is an absence of color. All right, so they were thinking more about physics with this. I can appreciate that. Okay, and so those are all the flags I'm going to show you today. There are more flags. I mean, anyone can make their own flag for any identity. And one of the reasons there are so many flags is because there are so many identities, and not all words work for everyone. Not everyone feels properly represented by one single word or one single flag. And many of these words can go together. I mean, you can be non-binary and pansexual, or you can be trans and a lesbian. I mean, you can be aromantic but pansexual. A lot of these words work together. Multiple flags can fit who you are, or none of them. If you are questioning or growing, changing, these things can happen. Sexuality, gender, all these things can be confusing, they can change. Yeah, and so one thing that I always find worth remembering is that the rainbow flag is for all of us. It is not exclusive. It is meant to be for all of us. I recently saw a post online that said something like, if you're 15 or 16 and you're not sure about your identity yet, or it changes, that's okay, you're still growing. And while that is true, I would say that's true if you're 15 or 16 or 25 or 35 or 45. Life is varied. There are so many things that happen and so many things that change us, and so many things about ourselves that we don't know at the start. There's no age where suddenly we become who we are and have always been, and we don't change anymore. So yeah, I think it's okay to keep questioning and finding out things about yourself and finding what feels comfortable for you. So this Pride, I think I'm going to be rocking a rainbow, but you can do whatever feels right for you. Okay.